Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. I am Dr. Chetna Kumawat and we are studying Management of Receivables. In this chapter, we are discussing a scope of management of receivables. So far, we have discussed formulation of credit policy in which credit standards, credit limits and collection policy we have discussed. The second portion is credit evaluation, in which collection of information, credit analysis and credit decisions have also been discussed. So today we are going to discuss the third part of scope of management of receivables, which is credit control. So let's get started. Control of receivables. Once the credit has been extended as per the credit policy, the next important step in the management of receivables is the control of these receivables. Merely setting of standards and formulating a credit policy is not sufficient. Their effective implementation and control is also essential. The main purpose of controlling receivables is to ensure that the credit policies laid down and adopted are being adhered to. To control the receivables, efforts are required in the following two directions: formulation of collection procedure, monitoring and controlling receivables. Formulation of collection procedure. There should be a well-drawn and well-designed collection procedure in existence for the implementation of collection policy. Hence, a clear-cut and effective collection procedure dealing with delinquent or slow-paying customers should be framed and adhered strictly. Collection procedure refers to the actions which are taken up when customers delay the payments. The collection procedure should neither be too lenient, resulting in an increase in receivables, nor too strict, resulting sometimes loss of customers, as both these affect the business adversely. Therefore, the collection procedure should be such that it can minimize the bad debt losses without affecting the sales. At the same time, a special consideration should be made to some customers who are temporarily in tight financial position due to some external factors such as slack economic conditions. The following actions may be taken for collecting receivables: reminder letters, cash discount, help from collection agency. Reminder letters. The collection procedure should be followed in a clear-cut sequence to ensure the collection from slow payers. This requires that reminder letters should be sent to those customers who fail to pay on due dates. A politely worded letter should be sent first. If the receivables remain uncollected, strong worded additional letters should be sent progressively. If still payment is not made, he should be reminded by telephone or telegram, and then a personal visit by the company representative should be made for collection. If the payment is still not made, legal action may be taken against the customer. Since legal action is costly and time consuming, therefore, it is better if a compromise is made and the account is settled on some payment. Cash discount. The prompt payment from few customers can be facilitated by offering them cash discount. Cash discount is a cost to the firm, and such a cost can be incurred if quick collections are bound to come. These discounts to the customers reduce the cost, as if they have funds, they would certainly come forward to avail the facility. but full payment should be recovered from those customers who do not make payment within the specified discount period. Use of factoring services. If aforesaid methods fail to bring any response, the next course of action is to deliver the overall accounts to a collection agency known as factoring. It is a debt collection service where the factor purchases book debts of the client at a discount, either with or without some recourse. In recovering from debtors, he undertakes the responsibility of debt collection and maintenance of the client's sales ledger in return for a service fee. Thus, finance is made available and the risk inherent is borne by these agencies. The services of these collection agencies are generally not preferred for collecting small overdue accounts, as direct action against small customers is a costly affair. The second part is monitoring and controlling of receivables. In order to control the level of receivables, the firm should apply regular checks. For this, there should be a continuous monitoring system and proper control over receivables. The following methods may be adopted for this purpose. Number 1. Efficient billing system. In most of the firms, invoicing of goods takes place after the delivery of goods to the customers, and even too much time is also taken in preparing the invoices. In order to control debt collection, the invoice has to be prepared quickly and should be sent along with the goods. This minimizes debt collection period. Number 2. Sales ledger accounting. Mechanized sales ledger accounting can be introduced to have regular checks on the debtors. This system of accounting gives the breakup of each invoice and the age of each outstanding account. This facilitates the quick collection of receivables. Majority of the firms today are using the computers for preparation of accounts. This has actually reduced the collection period. Number 3. Average collection period. A common method to control the receivables is the average collection period. This period refers to the time taken in collecting debts from customers or the number of days outstanding receivables. The average collection period may be found by dividing the average receivables by the amount of credit sales per day. The managerial efficiency or trend can be ascertained by comparing it with the past year's period of the firm. The actual average collection period may also be compared with the standard collection period to evaluate the efficiency of collection. If variations are found, necessary corrective actions can be taken. For example, if a standard average collection period is 30 days, whereas actual collection period comes to 40 days, then this is clearly an indication of deterioration in the collection procedure and the credit evaluation process. The last one is aging schedule of receivables. Preparation of aging schedule of receivables is essential for the purpose of reducing the bad debt losses and accelerating the collection procedure. The quality of the receivables of a firm can be measured by looking at the age of receivables. The older the receivables, the lower is the quality, and the greater the responsibility or possibility of a default. An aging schedule is a statement in which the total outstanding receivables on a particular day are classified into different age groups together with percentage of total receivables that fall in each age group. Such type of aging schedule can provide a kind of early warning suggesting deterioration quality of receivables and the stage where to take the appropriate corrective action. This aging schedule can be compared with the past aging schedule of the same firm by other comparable firms, or the aging schedules of different periods may also be compared. This will give an idea of any required changes in the collection procedure and point out those customers who require special attention. So this is it for this chapter. Thank you so much for your patience and listening to it. Have a wonderful day.